welcome back once again as we continue our 2015 team by team NFL review. I am, as always, your host, the G Man. Who we're going to talk about today is the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills got to experience the Rex Ryan crazy this year, and it lived up to the hype. It lived up to exactly what you would expect out of Rex. Very interesting, not necessarily winning. They did uncover some things, came up with some more challenges, but let's talk about what went right, what went wrong, and what they might have to do in the future. So what went right is Rex is always a mile a minute. He's Barnum and Bailey, right? He's a carnival barker. He's interesting. He usually does it with defense and a running game, and that was his expectation this year, what he was going to do. Well, half the equation wound up working out, but the running game didn't come from the source you would expect. They signed Tyrod Taylor as a low-level, I guess, a kind of a lottery ticket free agent. I always liked Tyrod Taylor. I never understood why he didn't get a chance. I know he's not the biggest guy in the world, but I think he always showed ability. Well, this year with the Bills, he did get hurt a little bit because he plays that run style of offense, which is difficult to maintain your health. But at the same time, he was excellent from time to time. He was always good, sometimes tremendous, and made the occasional young guy mistake because he's still a young guy, hasn't been seasoned very much, hasn't played a ton in the NFL. So he went right to be sure. It seemed like in the beginning of the year, what was going to go right was that running game. Rex loves to build with defense and pound you with the running game. Well, they made a trade with my beloved Philadelphia Eagles, which turned out to be a wash either way. At first I thought, wow, I liked it for the Eagles because I like Kiko Alonso, and LaShawn McCoy wanted too much money and had a big mouth and was a baby. But at the same time, I understood as a player it was a tremendous fit for the Bills. It turned out that he got hurt almost immediately, was never as effective as he should have been. But that was counterbalanced by the fact that they signed Carlos Williams in the draft, and he looks like a keeper. He also got hurt, banged up his head a little bit, so they really couldn't rely on the running game. That's why they had to go to the air and with Tyrod Taylor's legs as much as they did. Even with that said, I'll tell you that the biggest thing that went right on offense was Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins is as good as advertised. Everybody thought he was great. He is damn good. Gets deep. Tyrod Taylor has enough arm to get it to him deep. People have to play him for the deep ball, so he manages to catch enough short passes too because he can just, he forces the action. You have to play 7-8 yards off of him. It makes for a lot of 12 to 15-yard catches, and he really he blossomed this year. Had a little spat in the middle of the year where he complained about not getting the ball enough, but after that he kind of rose to the occasion, did a good job. Ironically, the what went wrong part was really the defense. They were full of bluster. They hit you hard, but at the same time, they gave up a ton of points and a ton of yards. People who know the Buddy Ryan / Rex Ryan / Rob Ryan school of thought is you give up big plays to make big plays. Well, the defense didn't make a lot of big plays, but they continued to give up big plays. They had some underachievers, which they've since cut ties with, and we'll see what Rex gets to do with this upcoming year. Mario Williams was a shell of his former self, never came up to be what he was supposed to be. They had some defensive line problems because they do have some absolute studs at defensive tackle, missed some time with injury. Corner, they're actually pretty set at corner. You always think in a Rex Ryan defense that you need two good corners and one lockdown man-to-man corner to allow for that blitzing that he likes to do, and they had that. But just far too many big plays given up. They also, this year, they're going to lose Tarek Glenn, their big offensive tackle, who I understand he's a left tackle. He was never a great left tackle, but he was a performing left tackle for them. So they had some challenges. Rex is the biggest challenge. I don't think with a guy like that, unless he has the game built the way that he wants, and I'm not sure his way works in the NFL right now, I think they're always going to struggle a little bit. They could get to a 10-6. I actually think Rex is an okay coach, but I think his methodology might be a little outdated. They could get to 10-6. They could be in that 9-7 frame. As they move forward, as I mentioned, Got to get an offensive tackle to replace Tarek Glenn, maybe 2 offensive linemen. They also need help on the defensive front. That front 7, they could use a game-changing pass rusher. That would fit huge in the Rex Ryan system. That would help them to achieve. But until then, I see them kind of being in the middle of the road next year as well. With Tyrod Taylor as a bright spot, watching him and Sammy Watkins play together. Let's see what happens with LaShawn McCoy. For those of you who don't know, we in the Philadelphia are well aware of the fact that he got in an alleged, I'll say alleged because it seems pretty clear he was involved in some way, fight with off-duty police officers in an Old City club, which is like a rundown warehouse, not the kind of place you would expect LaShawn McCoy to be, but to each his own. So I don't know if he's going to face suspension to start the year or what have you, but let's see what happens with that case, and that will also help to dictate what happens with those Buffalo Bills. For now, that's all we have on the Bills for the 2015 year in review. I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.